Hello everyone, this is Roxas1359, joined once again with...
Hello Japan.
And it's time now for us to go to Shaar, after I run around looking like an idiot for a bit, and breaking things.
Hey, it's the best way to get money.
Yes! Isn't it so nice that bolts are the currency in this universe? Everything has bolts! Those lights had bolts! I'm pretty sure these robots have bolts! I could kill them and get money!
I don't think they'd appreciate that much, but it would work.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't show up in the series after this, so...
It's a shame, though, because I really did like them. They are good comic relief.
Well, I ended up finding out they wouldn't have had the same voice actors, actually, because I feel so bad because it's been so long since I've did the actual bios on their voice actors. The one who does Green actually ended up dying in 2006.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he apparently died of stomach cancer, so...
Oh, man.
So they would have ended up changing it. But, I mean, for the most part, the Ratchet and Clank universe generally keeps the same voice actors. I mean, the only one not being the case being Mikey Kelly, and the only time, actually, they still had Mikey Kelly's voice clips still being used up till Future Tools of Destruction.
Now, who did he voice?
He was Ratchet in the first game.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mikey Kelly, the thing that they kept for the rest of it is when Ratchet falls down into a pit. That scream is Mikey Kelly's voice clip.
Oh, wow. Hey, it is a really good clip, so.
Yeah. So here's where I'm questioning something. Planet Orxon. It was established that we're in the Shadow Sector. So what is Orxon doing here?
Because we've been to Orxon before, right?
Yes, Orxon is Drek's homeworld from the first game.
That's why. Okay, I remember playing through this and I pointed that out and I was like, I recognize that name, but I couldn't think of what I remembered it from. That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going the Shadow Sector. When was Orxon in the Shadow Sector? Did it get moved? Then again, with how silly the Ratchet and Clank universe is, I wouldn't be surprised.
It probably very well could have, yeah.
Tonight on Red Zone, Team Darkstar embarks on a journey through the hallowed grounds of planet Shaar. What was once just a boring, historic ancient temple is now the centerpiece of this explosive new battle course. Ratchet will have to complete some of Dreadzone's deadliest challenges ever, just to gain entrance into the main temple. But even if he survives that far, no contestant this season has come out of that temple alive.
It's a good thing I have the, ability to reincarnate. As Merc will kindly point out, but here comes probably my favorite weapon in all of Deadlocked, the Scorpion Flail. This thing's amazing. This is my favorite weapon in this game.
Oh, wow.
Because pretty much do you remember the Plasma Whip, which turned into the Quantum Whip in the third game?
Yeah, it went from orange to blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
And pretty much, this thing does a huge area of effect and shock on it. And it's just really powerful. In fact, it goes up every time it levels up by an increment of 100. So, it's very deadly, and it's a lot of fun to use.
Now, the thing that always made me laugh about this game in particular was, the announcers. And I like the fact that we're like, oh, in an ancient civilization's temple, and we're here to blow it up.
Oh, no. That's Juanita's clip later on. I don't think it's going to be inside this episode. It might be in the next one. He goes, future fans of Dreadzone will be able to watch this as we blow it up in glorious high definition.
I really do like the character banter between the two narrators.
Yeah, Dallas and Juanita, it's actually really interesting. The Dallas's voice actor is definitely top billing. It's the same voice actor who actually does Cosmo in The Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Darren Norris. He also ends up... So he's been doing that for ages. He actually has done a lot of games as well. Just the one that comes out most, though, is that he was Cosmo. So he was definitely top billing. And then Juanita's voice actress is Nika Futterman. And the latest thing she's done is actually Styx the Badger for the new Sonic Boom series.
Ooh. Well.
Well, the cartoon is good.
The cartoon is good? Okay,
shit.
that I haven't heard anything about the cartoon, but hearing that is decent, that's...
Yeah, the cartoon is better than the show. The thing that sucks is, unfortunately, Scarlet Equinox, we had done a stream on it, a live stream just the day it came out. Our reactions were just amazing.
Can I find that somewhere? Because I'm actually kind of curious to hear what you have to say about it.
Unfortunately, it ended up getting corrupted.
Oh, okay.
You hearing this, Afro Battler? Why'd you let it get corrupted?
No, I've just been watching a few people do, different Let's Plays of that game, and it's just, it's incredible how buggy a game can be, especially from, I mean, I don't want to, from Sega, but, I mean, it's not like Sega hasn't released things aren't buggy, it's just...
Well, this wasn't Sega. Sega wasn't behind this.
Oh, they weren't? Okay.
No,
I thought it was like Team Sonic or Sonic 06.
No, it's not actually, and that's actually going to be a really big problem because I think Sega's having that problem. It's Big Red Button were the ones who were in charge of this game. In fact, Sonic Team hated Boom in its entirety.
Well,
so
I mean, they're taking their baby and they're turning it into this character who's almost completely different.
According to the Afro Battler, because he ended up watching a stream that was going off with Takashi Iizuka, the person who's currently in charge of Sonic Team, as he was playing Sonic Boom, and apparently he facepalmed on camera.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Sonic Boom. Look forward to the commentary on that on Scarlet Equinox, because I guarantee we're gonna be doing that. All right, now this mission right here, this is chaotic with all the missiles and everything, and you can actually get out of the land stalker in this. I do not recommend it.
Now, is it one of those situations, because again, it's been a little while, but if you get out of it, are you not allowed back in? Is it one of those situations, or are you able to jump back into it?
Oh, no, you can jump back into it. I just mean don't go into it because there are so many things here that can two-shot you.
Yeah, especially on the higher difficulty.
Yeah, so here I'm going out going, okay, I want to level up my fusion rifle, which is awesome. Oh, we got these guys. Guess what? I can kill them. I can take them on. I can just strafe left, strafe right. I'm doing good. Have you do that because the AI is actually programmed to go after the person who's doing the bolt crank and not the one who has the shield charger on. All right, so the entire reason why I kept in this failure, because this ends in failure, keep that in mind, is because I got the bolt crank. And it saves the bolt crank. And meanwhile, I'm just realizing, oh my god.
I've made a grave mistake.
I have made a grave error. And mainly it's because of the new enemies we have right here, the like beetle-like robots that fire rapidly at you. Those things are deadly. Those things are not fun. So here I'm thinking, okay, I gotta get back into the Landstalker. I'm out! Oh, okay, he hit me for over half damage. I'm just gonna go in the Landstalker, just put this up right here. I am safe. Alright, I'm safe. Let's pick him off. Come on. 1, 2. Alright, now I just gotta take you out. 1, 2, 3. I'm making good progress here.
Oh.
Alright. And I think I'm good. Alright. My shield, okay, they're dead. Alright. No, you idiot! Go back into the Landstalker! Because of them! You idiot! No! No, don't be ballsy! I think this was when I realized I made a grave error. There comes a time when you realize you're not gonna live.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I goofed up.
Bad.
So, how many hits does it take? I guess, I don't know, it's a good way to ask it, but like those floating beetle things, as you called it, how quickly can they mow you down?
If you're not careful, because Ratchet actually doesn't have an invincibility frame in this game, they could take you down in about 5 seconds if you are not careful and you're playing on a high difficulty. No, you idiot. Get in the Landstalker and blow it up.
So they're not as dangerous as the big wrench guys, but they will take you down if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention, they will take you down. And there are some dread challenges on this planet that can honestly go fuck themselves for what they do, because they throw a ton of those guys at you and get rid of all your weapons. Yeah, you're going to be seeing that, I think, in the next video. You're going to be seeing that, and it's just not fun.
Okay, so I see that you mentioned, because you got the other node back there, it was already done. And I see that there was enemies over there still, so they spawn in as if nothing happened.
But the node stays captured.
The node stays. Okay, that's nice.
That can be a problem at times because of the fact that they spawn the enemies.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, and it's not only that. If I were to go over there and kill all the enemies, I think it would respawn the second wave of enemies as if you had, captured the node. I mean, it seems so odd that they were doing something like this, but I can't fault Insomniac too much because this game did have a year development time in between. So,
yeah, I remember. I think I picked this game up at launch or close to when I was younger, and I remember it coming out really soon after the third one.
Yep, it came. Third one came out in 2004. This one came out in 2005. All Insomniac games up until when they jumped to the PlayStation 3 were 1 year after each other.
Oh, wow.
And I have to commend them for that because there's not many developers who could effectively do that.
No, and yeah, I mean, if you think about annual franchises nowadays, it's like with Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty, it's even not just one developer, it's multiple studios working on these titles nowadays, so that is really cool.
And speaking of the Assassin's Creed series, I'm wondering if I should ever do that or not.
I don't know if you've seen it, but I just finished uploading all the Assassin's Creed 1 stuff.
Oh no, what I usually do is I wait for you to do it in a bulk and then I just watch them all for that.
Yeah, because I finished everything with Assassin's Creed 1, and I tried to enjoy it, but by the end of it, because the game itself is so repetitive, I got really, really bored with it.
If I could give you a recommendation, I will say, because the first one was extremely repetitive. The second one, I think, is one of the best ones in the series.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm actually playing through that right now. I'm just under halfway through with it, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, the second one is by far my favorite one, but after that, I just stopped with the series.
Yeah, see, and I continue on. It became an annual thing. My mom would pick me up the new one for Christmas, and I've just been playing them every single year. Except I have not played Black Flag yet, or Unity, or Rogue, or whatever the new ones are.
You might want to watch out for that because apparently Ubisoft stopped supporting Unity already.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, I heard it was buggy, but that buggy?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
You have not seen the Faceless Man yet?
I've seen the Faceless thing, yeah.
I just want to see
that should be a feature in every game, though. That just seems like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. If you end up watching Aliens Colonial Marines, you can clip through people and you can see their tongues.
Oh, gosh. And that seems to be like a trend with, I don't know, this year it seems to be, is like companies would build up this big hype and then release the game, and it's like, oh, it's okay.
Well, that's because, for me, I don't really buy the big AAA games as much. The games I've honestly bought that are probably the most, like, the biggest games are Smash Bros, Kirby Triple Deluxe, which is my game of the year in all honesty.
Cool.
And 2.5 HD. It was at this point I just said, you know what? I have the Ravager, throw it. Get them away now. Because this is what happened. Because with all the, bringing it back to Ratchet and Clank,
okay.
All the enemies that are right here, the other turrets and everything, and there's a Landstalker that's down there that could also see me if I'm not careful.
This is crazy. I remember this. This was a hectic world.
This feels like something that is such a giant difficulty spike that I don't understand why this is here. I have a feeling that this was probably meant to be a later level.
The next set of nodes have been cleverly concealed beneath these priceless stone carvings.
Here at Dreadzone, we're serious about historical preservation. Future generations will look back at recordings of Dreadzone to see these historic sites blown up in high-definition video.
All right, so it was in this episode then, for that one.
That's really good. I like that.
I know, I love that. The banter is really good. That's what I always love. I think that that's what Insomniac was probably trying to do, seeing as how we don't have as much Ratchet and Clank banter. They played it up that we have the announcers doing the banter instead.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's not really as much of a replacement, but I think it's still good.
You know, it is still very good. Yeah, and I'm glad it turned out like it did. Because sometimes, some companies try and do it, and it just comes off as really corny or just dry humor. But they do it very well in this.
Yeah, that's why, honestly, Insomniac, like, I sound like the biggest Insomniac fanboy, but that's honestly because I am. I've been playing Insomniac games since I was a child, starting with the Spyro the Dragon series, and...
Yeah, same with me, yeah. So I remember, I remember it was weird one night. I think I stayed up really, really late, and my parents didn't know, and my dad came down for whatever reason. There's me playing Spyro the Dragon at like 3 in the morning. I had an obsession with Spyro back in the day.
See, my parents would have grounded me if I had ever done something like that. I think the only time I ever truly did something like pretending to be asleep while I was playing a game is Sonic Adventure 1. Because I had a Dreamcast and I had it for that.
Okay. See, I didn't own any Sega consoles. I had just Nintendo stuff, and then Sony.
See, I didn't have, when I was growing up, I didn't have a Nintendo 64 and SNES. I had Genesis, and then I transitioned over to something. I transitioned over to the PlayStation 1 and then the Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
And what I ended up doing was, back then I had a limit for time in which I could play games. So I was hiding and had the volume really low because I wanted to beat Sonic's story in the first Sonic Adventure because I didn't have a virtual memory unit, so I couldn't save.
Oh.
So I was like, I want to do this. I want to beat Sonic's story at least. And I was able to. And it was slightly after that. Something's telling me my parents probably did know because it was slightly after that that they got rid of the time limit for me playing games because I had good enough grades to where even playing games, it didn't bother me.
Yeah, I was similar in that regard, where I had a time limit, and then later on they're like, you know what, fine, it doesn't really matter.
Interesting fact, folks. Dreadzone started out with 2 guys fighting over a breakfast burrito, and the rest is history.
You know, why would somebody fight over a breakfast burrito? Why? That seems so asinine. I mean, if it was like beef stroganoff or like a chimichanga, I'd understand.
Now, real quick, I wanted to mention, I noticed that, I don't know if you've mentioned it before in another episode or whatever, but it seems really, really easy to get a lot of bolts very quickly in this game.
Yes, you can build up the bolts extremely fast in this game. They did that on purpose, which is why the inflation costs for everything are so high.
Yeah, because I noticed one of the mods, just when you went and visited the item, the store back there, it was 60,000 bolts. I mean, in the first few games, there was guns that weren't even that expensive.
The first game was the worst one when it came to getting bolts, but after that they made it a little bit easier. But then again, I have no right to really say anything, seeing as how I'm the person who in Ratchet and Clank 3, while he was still on Planet Dax, had over 1 million bolts in every single weapon that you could have gotten at that point to level 5.
See, no, I didn't. When I played through the first 3 games, I didn't actually. Something similar to this, I didn't actually get every gun and upgrade every gun. And like, what was it, the first game that had the Rhino?
All games have a Rhino. This is the only game that does not have a Rhino. It has the Harbinger.
Okay, so it's basically the same thing, though?
I'd say it's more like the Zodiac, only useful.
Okay. So, like, I never went and picked up one of those guns, and I just, for whatever reason, whether it's just me being lazy, probably me being lazy, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, for me, it's more because I enjoy doing games 100% a lot of the time, because if you notice on my channel, most of my games, I tend to do 100%.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
But for the most part, in this game, this is like this is one of the only Ratchet and Clank games I went out of my way to say I'm not doing 100% for. But for me, it just doesn't feel right if I don't get all the weapons. Bar the Harbinger, mind you, because I don't buy the Harbinger in this playthrough.
Okay.
Because that's 1,000,000 and I think 1,250,000 bolts, and I just did not want to have to deal with that. Because I was at the end of the game, and I'm just going, I just want to finish this.
See, and that's what happens to me for a lot of my playthroughs, where I'm like, oh, I want to get 100% or maybe just even close to 100%. By the end of it, I'm just like, this is a lot of work. I'm not going to. So for everyone who wants to see 100%, go watch Roxas.
If you want to see somebody get through a game in a relatively fast time frame and actually get it done in a relatively fast time, go watch Hello Japan.
I can't even say that much though, because I spend a lot of time just wandering around and probably spend a little too much time walking.
You still finish games faster than me. And meanwhile, I'd like to draw attention to the floating barrier.
I noticed that, yeah. Did it get picked up by one of the one of the turrets that got raised?
It was a glitch. I tried to recreate it in all honesty. I wanted to shoot another one to see if it could do that, but it won't. And I am highly disappointed for it.
So it kept rising. It didn't stop.
It counted that the top of the gun itself was actually a solid surface.
Oh, wow.
Is what happened with that. So there we go. With that, the campaign is complete. Me nearly dying at the end.
Yeah, that was really, really close.
I should not have done that. Wow. But now that we have that, we have 3 new Dread challenges. Guess what? Oh, 4. My mistake. Guess what? All next video is the Dread challenges. So we'll see you guys for those. Oh my god.